What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Scott from Fudge Muppet, and today I'm here to dive into an exciting Elder Scrolls 6 discussion with you. We haven't done one of these in a while, and essentially, these are talks about potential features of Elder Scrolls 6, or potential remedies for systems that have unfortunately been changed in previous entries, and how we would like to see them come back. Now, Skyrim is an amazing game, but it's not without its problems. Since Oblivion, the addition of perks was a fantastic move, but the complete removal of attributes, such as strength, willpower, and speed, were an absolute loss. I think this was a bit of a hasty move by Bethesda, and I can understand why they simplified it. Oblivion's attributes and leveling system was not exactly user-friendly, but you don't have to get rid of all the attributes to make it accessible. Bethesda instead replaced attributes with direct point investments into health, magicka, or stamina. The formula was once again used in the Elder Scrolls Online, so it honestly doesn't give me hope for the return of attributes in Elder Scrolls 6, but maybe, just maybe, if Bethesda is listening, I'm going to throw out there why they should consider bringing attributes back, as well as how they could work. So let's first talk about the why. Firstly, it allows you to reflect your race, your gender, and your background or class in gameplay mechanics. So in regards to race, with the attributes back, every single race starts with different sets of genetic-based attribute values. So for example, in Oblivion, the Bosmer, the Wood Elves, have a starting value of 50 in speed and agility, which lends itself to assassination, thievery, but also an agile melee combat character. If you chose Bosmer, you would initially feel like a zippier, lighter character in gameplay, which gives you a different feel to when playing a Nord, which has 50 strength, giving these natural burly Northmen a powerful swing with their axe, further distinguishing their heritage. Now, all of these are just your starting attributes. The way you level changes these, but you have a genetic base that makes a Wood Elf feel different from a Nord. But let's instead look at Skyrim for a second. If you were to play a Wood Elf, you have the exact same health, magicka, and stamina as a Nord. A little, nimble Wood Elf has the same physical fortitude as a hardy Nord, and a hardy Nord has the same stamina and speed as a nimble Wood Elf. You can see because of this, the gameplay mechanics don't reflect your choice of race well, which then makes your choice of race less meaningful. On top of this, you also have different starting skill boosts from race, but it doesn't feel distinct enough. Simply put, a Wood Elf archer with 100 archery is just the same as a Nord with 100 archery, whereas in a world where attributes exist, the Wood Elf would likely have more speed or more agility, which in turn could affect archery draw speed and movement with a drawn bow. I also just want to make clear that I'm not advocating pigeonholing races into certain archetypes, meaning I don't want it to be impossible to be a Khajiit warrior or a Nord archer, but at the same time, it would be more interesting and fun to have races possess certain attribute advantages from the get-go. If I play a Breton, a race with elven heritage, I'd want that to be reflected through higher magicka or higher magicka regen via the intelligence and willpower stats. But also, having genetic characteristics in the form of attributes for races allows you to come up with some awesome and fun builds. It would feel very rewarding when you say take a Bosmer two-handed warrior, but because of your natural lower endurance and strength, you then make up for it by adopting a more agile, speedy hit-and-run warrior playstyle, perhaps focusing around bleed damage or something, having your enemy tire themselves out slowly bleeding while you wait for them to die as you zip around them. Now, all this is very important in a role-playing game. You want to be able to take on a role and have that reflected by the role-playing game's mechanics. It's just not as fun when it's all in your head. You can roleplay in Minecraft if you want by using your imagination, but it doesn't feel right when it's not reflected by gameplay mechanics, hence why it's not an RPG. I also understand that Bethesda wanted a one-size-fits-all approach to races, where they are far more accessible, a situation where races are mostly the same aside from a few starting skill bonuses and their race powers. They wanted you to be able to grow your character organically without locking you into a certain build or playstyle straight away, which I think is fine. It helps the Elder Scrolls charm, where you go out into the world and fight a monster with a sword and then get better at using the sword. The organic development approach fits perfectly here, but I feel as if for the most part this kind of experience can be done with the addition of attributes. I wouldn't bring classes back because I feel like a more casual audience would find them intimidating and restrictive, but instead we could do something like this. So imagine every single race, like Oblivion and all the Elder Scrolls games before it, has a starting set of attributes that reflect the natural stature, intellect, and physical prowess of the race, so strength, intelligence, willpower, agility, speed, endurance, personality, and luck, all at various combinations that together give you an idea of what the race is, i.e. orcs are strong and have lots of endurance, Ultima are intelligent, etc. Pick your race as you would in Skyrim, but before you start running around, it prompts you to pick 2 attributes which give you a plus 10 to each. So say I was a Redguard and picked strength and speed as my favored attributes, then I could start the game with 60 strength and 50 speed. The aim of this is to somewhat step in for a class system while still allowing you a good degree of freedom. There are no major skills or minor skills, but this way, the 2 favored attribute choices give you a head start in your chosen areas, which reflects whatever backstory you may have made up for yourself, or just chosen them for what you're interested in playing as, i.e. warrior, mage, thief, etc. So, if you did want to play an orc mage shaman type character, then you could pick orc and choose intelligence and willpower as your favored attributes, giving you 40 intelligence and 60 willpower. Another benefit of this more complex attribute system is that attributes often have multiple effects. For example, willpower affects your magicka regeneration rate, but also affects your total stamina, meaning that the attribute is both valuable for a magic user and a warrior or thief. So perhaps an orc shaman may benefit from low-cost spells used more frequently versus the spells used of a higher intelligence mage, but that in itself gives you 2 types of mage playstyles, whereas in Skyrim, if you use magic, you pick magicka, if you're a warrior, you pick health. It's very simplistic and uninspired. So building off the same system, after you pick your race and 2 favored attributes, the world is your oyster. You go do what you want, you level up your skills like normal, and that contributes to your overall level meter. Upon level up, you would then have 5 points to then allocate into attributes of your choice. You can spread them across 5 or all into 1, start working on some weak points or double down on your strengths. But I think 5 points would be a good amount. By level 51, you would have had spent 250 points on your character's attributes, and arguably that's even too generous. That would allow you to have a level 50 Redguard go from his base stats of 50 strength, 30 intelligence, 30 willpower, 40 agility, 40 speed, 50 endurance, 30 personality, and 50 luck, to 100 strength, 30 intelligence, 50 willpower, 100 agility, 100 speed, 100 endurance, 30 personality, and 60 luck. And that's not even factoring in the plus 10 to favored attributes. Then again, that is a Redguard, a warrior suited race, doubling down on warrior attribute selection. If instead I wanted to make a Redguard desert mage character, I could pick intelligence and willpower as chosen attributes, increasing them to 40, then spend 120 points, aka 24 levels, getting to 100 intelligence and 100 willpower, making a fantastic Redguard mage character who stacks up against any other, maybe except Bretons and High Elves because of their extra bonuses. But despite the natural disadvantage, you can still get there, but at the same time, a High Elf who starts the game will feel magically superior initially, which reflects the races of the lore, and gives you a deeper role-playing experience. This would be a rather forgiving system that allows people to max out a bunch of stats and enjoy that power fantasy, but it does that without sacrificing role-playing elements and complexity. An interesting consequence of the attribute system is that it makes enchanting far more fun and interesting as well. The same goes for unique items and artifacts. Now I know enchanting is already overpowered, and in Elder Scrolls 6 it should be rebalanced accordingly, but attribute enchantments make the game so much more interesting. When you have a unique pair of magical boots that make you go so much faster, boosting your speed by 30, but at the same time they reduce your endurance by 20, making them perfect travel boots, but not so much for battle. The Mask of Clavicus Vile can boost your personality stat by a significant amount, or there could be lucky amulets boosting your luck. It would feel awesome if there was a hammer like Stendarr's hammer that is really, really heavy, but with enough strength enchantments you will be able to carry the weapon without being over encumbered. It just gives you so many opportunities to creatively mix and match enchantments, resulting in unique combinations that allow you to do awesome things, like back in the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, where you can use certain enchantments to balance the effects of the Boots of Blinding Speed. I mean, the Boots of Blinding Speed could make a return as well. I just think attributes such as strength, speed, endurance, luck, and so on are far more interesting and interactive than just health, magicka, and stamina. But ultimately, we would wish to have attributes back like they were in Oblivion and the Elder Scrolls games before it. And like we just discussed, you don't have to have Oblivion's awkward leveling system or classes. We just want a simple way to have attributes because it brings back lots more role-playing and gameplay complexity while also satisfying the more casual audience by making it straightforward and approachable. So what do you guys think about attributes returning? Would you like to see them back? Perhaps a narrower list? Maybe it's not enough and you want classes back as well. Well, let us know your thoughts on the topic down below in the comments. My name is Scott from Fudge Muppet, and I recommend that you check out our Twitter accounts below because we drop times for live streams where we have all these kinds of discussions and creative type idea sessions, usually brainstorming for future videos. Do subscribe for more Elder Scrolls goodness. Thanks again for watching. Give the video a like if you want to see attributes return or if you like our content, and I'll be back to nerd out with you again very soon.